Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. This time around, it is Coconuts for the Atari 2600, brought to you by Telesys, 1982. What you see here is what you get. You run left and right, you avoid coconuts being thrown by the monkey at the top of the trees, and that's it. You have 3 hit points: your umbrella, your helmet, and your own head. And if you get hit directly in the head, the game is over. You'll regain your helmet at 500 points and again at 1500 points. But getting to those point values, not super easy. I wouldn't imagine it to be super hard unless you really know what you're doing. Left and right allow you to move left and right. If you hold either direction, you'll move faster. You obviously need to do that to stay away from the coconuts. If the coconuts you avoid go beyond umbrella level, you'll get points for them. Every so often, the monkey will stop moving and throwing coconuts. Take the time to rest, and when you're ready, press the fire button to continue playing, but be careful because the monkey will move more quickly, and so will the coconuts. The longer you play, the more points you'll get for every coconut you dodge. First 5, then 10, then 15, and finally 20. Of course, by the time you reach 500 points for your first extra life, or what the game considers an extra life, the game is significantly harder than if you began it at the lowest level. There are some game modes with the game select switch, I think. I could be wrong on that. No, it's just 1-player and 2-player mode. That's it. You can't choose which level you start on, so you always start at the lowest level no matter what. Is there anything else for me to say? Not really. So, when it's time to start the game, you want to press the fire button. You don't have the reset. Just press the fire button on the joystick. And left and right will allow you to move left and right. And when the monkey stops moving, and I mean really stops moving, that's when you press the fire button to get the game going again and start the next level. That's it. That's your controls. That's it. That's everything. Your character does have a name, actually, believe it or not. His name is Stanley, Dr. Stanley, I presume. You can kind of see what the joke is there, if you are of a certain vintage. And it's time for me to press... Ooh. At least you get good damage feedback. For when you get hit in whatever constitutes as armor for your head. So that's nice. The game really makes it known. And I believe I'm on level 4 already. 3, 4, somewhere in there. Oh no. And I got hit in the head because I ran right into it. Sometimes the games go downhill just like that. Let's go ahead and press circle and try again. Things are going to get slowed down back to the way they were at the start of the game, which can be a little off-putting when you're used to the speed that you were at when you lost all of your headgear, as well as gotten a concussion from this monkey. But you'll get back to where you were in time. And it seems that you have to press circle again whenever you get hit. And he is moving a lot faster. I'll be amazed if I hit 500 at this rate. Believe it or not, you can use the difficulty switch to make things easier slash harder on yourself, if you set the left difficulty switch or the right difficulty switch, depending on whether or not you're playing a one-player game or a two-player game, if you set it to B/novice, you move faster, and if you set it to A/expert, you'll move slower. You'll move more slowly. Though I did try that, and I didn't really see much of a difference between the two. Well, I gained one piece of headgear, so it's not a complete armor renewal, so I really have to be careful. Well, at least I'm doing better here. Man, once you get to like levels 3 and 4, once you get to the 10-point variations, things get a lot faster. I can't imagine how fast it would be when you reach the 3rd pair of levels or the 4th pair of levels. So I said that it was super easy but not super hard. I can say that for your first headgear renewal, but it's definitely a lot harder for your second. To get the second of what the game considers an extra life. Yeah, if you couldn't already tell, this is one of those games on the Atari 2600 that will last a few minutes per session. I thought I was going to get hit there. I really thought I was going to get hit there, believe it or not. And even if you do have the movement speed on B/novice, things are still going to get rather hairy. I wish I could really give hints. Like, give good hints. Oh, good grief, are you... Like I said, I wish I could give good hints on how to play this game. I wish I could. You just have to really pay attention and just be on the move. That's pretty much it. I'm going to set this to expert and see if there really is not much of a difference. There's really not that much of a difference. That's weird. What if I set the other one to A? Yeah, I really can't see much of a difference. What if I set this back to left difficulty B? I'm not really seeing much of a difference. I can't really feel much of a difference. So weird. Maybe you, the viewer, can. I can't. Anyway, I'll give this one more go. And then I'll just go ahead and play this and give this game a little bit of a mini review. Like I do with every game that I play on this channel. Because why not? And we are now entering the second set of levels. And yeah, I kind of hesitated and got a little worried there. Hopefully I will do a little better here. I gained and lost a hit point at the same time. And I didn't think he would throw that there. I thought I got hit. Now I got hit. Yeah, as I said before, a session of this game only lasts a couple minutes unless you somehow get lucky. And what you see here is definitely what you get. Pretty simple game. Really simple game by 1982 standards, not going to lie, but still a fun one and a good way to get into the Atari 2600 library nevertheless. I think I'll go ahead and call it here and give the mini review. Graphics, you can easily identify everything. You can identify the doctor, you can identify the trees, you can identify the coconuts, though they're easiest to see on the lowest speed, and you can identify the monkey. Everything is simple, neat, basic, and it gets the job done without being too complex. You can read and see everything, and everything looks like it's supposed to. Sound and music, again, what you hear is what you get. You have all these arcadey sounds, and it never really gets all that annoying. You do hear all these tapping sounds when you're running around and the coconuts are being thrown by the monkey. It never gets too annoying, though. And, of course, you get some audio feedback whenever you get hit, too, so that's pretty nice. When you take damage in this game from a coconut hitting you in your head or your head armor, the game makes it known. I'm happy about that. Game gives good damage feedback. Controls, well, they're about as good as they can get. They're kept simple. You just move left and right. That's it. You're just avoiding things. As for the gameplay itself, be ready to move. It's not super hard, but it's not easy either. It can be a little difficult to get yourself a 4-digit score. You just have to really pay attention, and you just have to watch where you're going, and you can't really hesitate, especially when the coconuts start moving quickly. As for the replay value, your mileage may vary. This is definitely one of those very simple arcade-style games that more than likely you'll only spend like maybe a few minutes with at the most. But if you're into this sort of stuff, you may spend even longer than a few minutes. Again, your mileage may vary. And should you get this? Well, it's not horrible. It's not terrible by any means. It's just a really basic game. And even then, there's not very much wrong with that. Although I do feel that this game probably would have become more of a classic if it came out a few years sooner than it did. Because by the time 1982 rolled around, there were more complex games. There were games with more rules and more things to know. And more things to figure out and do compared to coconuts. So, by 1982 standards, this game is pretty simple. I still wouldn't shy away from it, though. I would try this at least once. You can do better, but you can also do worse. But I had fun with this. And it's easy to see why. All in all, solid game, even if it's a little basic and a little simple for its time. And if it had come out a few years earlier, it may have become a bigger hit. Or a hit, period, rather than just being completely under the radar. Oh well. So this has been Let's Play Coconuts for the Atari 2600. Hopefully you enjoyed this as much as I did, maybe a little bit more. And hopefully I will be back with another game. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be bad. Maybe it'll be somewhere in between. Who knows? Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care. Stay safe. Thanks for watching, and see y'all later!